Right, bedtime read. Rowan. We have had it before, so I'm pretty sure we've had most of these before. This will be the last one I do, I think, and then I'll just make sure that I've got a read for each one, and then you can go back to them when you see one randomly. It must be for you. So the Rowan. I always talk of heartbeats, so hearts, and PC Rowan was a program when I was younger. So you may know Policeman in Spirit or in the Living, and possible motorcycles involved. The number 25 is important. So Rowan. The quickening. So 12 weeks, when I've told you when a child turns for the first time, they used to call it the quickening or quick beam. The second moon, the tip of the index finger. So it is Capricorn. Lathe, the colour lathe or grey. The stone is yellow chrysolite, green beryl and yellow topaz. The bird is the duck. The goddess, Sequana, Bridget and Boan. 1st of February. They're talking about the Ides of March, and you need to watch that. I put it in the community piece and on Facebook. The symbols, the three phases of the goddess: white blossom, the virgin, the maiden, red berries, the menstruating woman, the mother, and the black bark, the old wise woman, the crone. The planet Vesta. We don't hear much about Vesta, but it is coming into play a lot, according to some of the astrologers. The musical note D. The message is a vision or magic, so watch out for unexplained messages or dreams that you receive. The word Ogham is flame, herb, delight of eye, sustenance of cattle. So Taurus, and last year the year of the ox, Chinese year of the ox. The flower essence is clematis or elm. Rowan is also called mountain ash and quicken. It is a small, delicate goddess tree found in mountainous areas as well as gardens, and like elder, it is a witch tree. It is often planted as a guardian, showing its moon symbolism with creamy white flowers in spring and brilliant red berries in the fall. A traditional way of protecting a house or barn was to cut 2 twigs from a rowan tree you had never seen before. You tie them into a cross with red wool and weave it into a diamond shape between the 4 arms. Rowan's wands are used not only in magic but to drive horses and cattle and ward off evil influences. In the autumn, these elegant trees look most colourful with red and gold leaves. The ancient people called it Lewis, so you may know a Lewis. Also called delight of the eye, Rowan is related to the powers of the sun and the element of fire, so fire signs are important. Its powers are healing, psychic power associated with success. Its colour is red, and its bird the duck, known to sustain and extend life. Because the rowan gives special insight, it can be seen as a tree of protection against enchantment. It provides forewarning for things of which we may not be aware. Lewis tells us to look within and seek the insight necessary to overcome our problems. It lets us know that the inner vitality necessary to us is available, even if it doesn't feel like it. Lewis describes a vast sea of flooding vitality waiting to be tapped, knowing that there may be some flooding, but this state will only be temporary. Your challenge is to avoid being overly influenced by those forces outside of yourself. O rowan tree, thou I be dear to me, entwined thou art with morning ties, a home and infancy. Thy leaves were I the first of spring, so St. Bridget's Day. Thy flowers the simmer's pride. There was na sic a bonny tree at the countryside. O rowan tree, how fair wert thou in summer time, with custus white, How rich and gay thy autumn dress with berries red and bright. On the fair stem were money names, oh, now near me I see, but there engraven on my heart forgot their name can be. O rowan tree, we sat aneath that spreading shade. The banes around thee ran, thy bonny berries red and necklace they strang. Me mother, I see her still, she smiled as spots to see, with little Jeanie on her lap and Jamie on her knee. So the name Jeanie and Jamie, and yesterday was the triple J was mentioned by Spirit. So there's a third J. A rowan tree, oh, there arose my fire's prayer in holy evening calm. How sweet was then my mother's voice in the martyr's psalm. Now again we meet near her, aneath the rowan tree, but hallowed thoughts around thee twine, a harm and infancy, O rowan tree. The red berries of the rowan or mountain ash are historically used to lure birds into traps, and birds are also responsible for dispersing the seeds. Rowans live well in poor soil and colonise easily in distressed areas. In some parts of Europe they are very common and around ancient settlements, possibly through cultivation. The bloom in May can grow up to 50 feet tall. They are members of the rose family. They do grow in North America, mostly in the northeast. Of the second moon, Imogen sang, I am a lake upon a plain, so a body of water. Many ancient people had stories of floods in which water was both honoured as a life-bringer and a destroyer. Water was seen as something that escaped from the realms of the gods. In many of the stories it seems to be a female who was involved when water would move through some disaster and come to the land, bringing growth and abundance through turbulence. Probably the most famous version of this myth in Celtic tradition is the Irish story of the well of Sayers. Growing around this well were 9 hazel trees. So the name hazel or hazelwood or hazelnut of wisdom, whose nuts fell into the water and gave it the quality of divine illumination. Much sought after by those seeking this wisdom. Only the owner of this well and his 3 coupers were allowed to approach the well. Then the goddess Born desired to drink from the well to increase her power. So they didn't care what the rules was, they just did it. She came to it secretly, but the well exploded and flooded the land, flowing to the sea as a river, later named Boyne, which had been thought to contain her spirit ever since. So if your name's Boyne, that could be important. Boyne. Through this story, rather than being the tragic victim, Boyne became the nurturing, life-enhancing goddess of the people. Imbolc occurs during the lunar cycle of the goddess. So we've got Imbolc on here. Where is it? Imbolc is February the 2nd. So St. Bridget's Day and Imbolc. 1st and 2nd of February. Bridget has given honour at this time. The conjunction of fire and water, which appears to be polar opposites, are actually the main symbols for fertility and healing. Bridget kindles the fire in the earth as well as being the life-giver power of the sun, but she is also the one who sends the rivers and springs out into the land. Because of this, she is the mistress of fire and water, and bringer of fertility to the land. She is fire in water. The fire symbolism of Imbolc is placed right in the middle of a time when we are surrounded by water in the form of great floods. This last long ending of winter is often a time of heavy rains and snow, because the sun is beginning to offer longer periods of light and warmth. Frost is no longer holding deeply in the soil, but it now melting and seeping into the air, bringing texture to the land and getting it ready for the new growth soon to emerge. This is the quickening that will soon give us the early signs of spring, with bulbs pushing themselves up into view, so the first snowdrops. For us that means it is a time to thaw out our spirits and warm ourselves, allowing a thaw from the winter and cold darkness, and preparing for our new lives, our new growth. So in the movement of this cycle's energy, we first become aware of the growing waters of emotion, feeling its pressure upon our quiet spirit, so long in the dark. We find ourselves yearning to begin a time of conscious manifestation. Then, at the full moon, which we've got at the 8th of this moon, we may allow the well or our emotions to spill over and observe how this loosens our hearts and spirits and brings us a period of fertility, growth and possibility. It is time for us to thaw, release our spirits and find new growth, exhilaration in fresh, life-bringing waters. All on a plain there stands a lake, a magic mirror doth it make, and gathered on a wintry night ye may behold a wondrous sight, for in that lake reflects the Lady Moon and Morning Star. Across the sky they journey on, and to her son she sings this song. Cradled in my loving arms, your dream unmarred by fear of harm, swift be your ride in heavenly boat, as on the Milky Way we float. When turns the crown of northern wind, a silver island shall you find, and on that isle a castle white, wherein peace and calm delight. Inside the castle's silver walls there stands a dark majestic hall, and in that hall a lady fair, the end of all desire is there. So slumber deep, thou heavenly twin, and so thy journey soon begin, for they who in love's flame will die shall rise again, I promise thee. On earth, in the air, through the fire, by the water, I am breath and Rowan the moon's daughter, and I believe the full moon is in Gemini, so that explains the twin. Why is duck in the next place? Not hard. This is the month of floods, when the ducks swim over the meadows, and grey is the colour of the floodwater and the rainy skies. Topaz, physical properties. It's colourless, yellow, red, brown, light blue, pinkish red or pale green. A form of flow containing aluminium silicate. The colours are rarely vivid, and pink is the most valuable colour. Topaz has a hardness. The metaphysical properties of topaz. It is empathic stone, its energy spread out like the warning rays of the sun, soothing, healing and giving life to all they encounter. The subtle rays of energy spread topaz gift of positive energy to all who need it. Topaz clears and heals your auric body while it balances energy flows in your physical body. This can recharge and renew your energy levels, which is what we need, because that's what I Ching said, leaving you more motivated and better able to tackle life's challenges. Topaz can also protect it shields your auric energy from negative influences during periods of change. It is a good crystal for times of crisis or rapid life changes. It also allows you to tap into your own inner resources for strength to complete the tasks at hand. The energy of topaz radiates outward in all directions. This can teach us to allow our own visions to project in more than one direction. This is especially beneficial to those in the arts of sciences, because it can help you see a solution in unexpected places. Topaz soothes and calms the nervous system, makes it an excellent stone for relaxation and meditation. By neutralizing distracting influences, it can reduce stress and make you feel more at peace. Topaz can help you find the path to your goals. Its subtle energies can help you to piece the gloom of uncertainty to illuminate the way to success. Physically, topaz is said to be beneficial to the nervous system and the blood. It can also reduce the stress that is the root cause of many of mankind's ailments. Topaz is a good choice for those born under the zodiac sign of Aries, Leo and Gemini. Sequana. Water is a daily necessity for Earth's creatures, but we do know, don't we, that we're going to have to filter the water and boil it, and some of those impurities cannot be taken away. We have to be very careful with the water. When the continental Celts were looking for new homeland, they ventured west from the known river valleys of the great landmass we call Eurasia, just beyond the great mountains. The Alps they discovered sweet and abundant water, fertile soil, expansive woodlands, and plentiful fish, game, and berries. We say the Celts originated in Alsace in northern France about 3,500 years ago, we know they didn't spontaneously generate. Where and how they lived before that time and place were questions whose answers lie in prehistory. We do know that Celtic spirituality, in its roots, animistic spirit, was alive in every living thing, non-anthropomorphic. The source of life and death was water, land, plant, and animal life. Tribe-specific, in France alone there is evidence of several hundred deities and a spirituality of place, the major landforms that define the world, rivers, springs, forests, animals, heavenly bodies. To the extent that Celtic spirituality was theistic and the creator, sustainer, destroyer of life was typically a goddess. The Celts who settled in the source of the great river defining their homeland called their river Squan, the Celtic word describing the shape of a snake. Squan then was river and goddess. In my mind she was Mother Snake, source of life, for her flowing waters sustained the tribe in the same way a mother's milk nurtured children through infancy and early childhood. Sequana is the Latin word for Seine, the most famous of the 5 principal rivers in France, and also for the Celtic Squan, the mother goddess of the tribes of the Celts, who lived on her shores and islands 3,000 years ago. She was river goddess, the living spirit of the land, ODV. There was a French phrase put in today's song, did you see it? C'est la vie. The Seine runs from its source west of the Alps through the heart of Paris to its mouth at Le Havre, where it joins the English Channel and the waters of the Atlantic Ocean and the North and Irish Seas. In Celtic spirituality, the spirit of the land was often embodied in water, in springs, rivers, lakes, and later the sacred or holy wells. Sequana in both the surface and underground waters of the Seine and her tributaries, also all of the lands drained by them. She is a watershed deity, alive today in the network of watersheds in the Paris Basin and in the hearts of some of her people, who remember she is mother of the clan, Snake River, bestower of health. In her arms she carries the overflowing cornucopia of abundant giving land. Her sacred animal was the duck, from living river, flowing like a river to the sea. Love flows through you, and it flows through me. Water belongs to the earth and all species and is sacred to life. Therefore the world's water must be conserved, and they're not doing that, are they? It's the spirit of getting annoyed. It must be reclaimed and protected for all future generations and its natural patterns respected. Water is a fundamental human right and public trust to be guarded by all levels of government. Therefore it should not be commodified, privatised or traded for commercial purposes. They've already broke the rules. This right must be enshrined at all levels of government. In particular, an international treaty must ensure that principles are non-controvertible. Water is the best protected by local communities and citizens who must be respected as equal partners with governments in the protection and regulation of our water. People of the earth are the only vehicle to promote earth democracy and save water. Also figured highly in the pagan cluster of Living River Action during the protest. The Living River mission statement included, "We say that our lives, our communities, the health of our earths, ecosystems and cultures of indigenous people, the dreams of children are too important to be summed to profit. Another world is possible, a world of justice, freedom, ecological balance and true abundance, and we will make it real. Although the negotiators of the FTAA believe they have a fenced out descent, we believe they have walled themselves in. We intend to liberate them so that they can hear the voices of the people, the land and the waters." Brigid is a goddess found in many mythologies, including those of Ireland and France and Wales. Because she exists in so many different cultures, Brigid has literally a never-ending list of names. The name Brigid comes from the Gaelic word Briosagit. Her name means fairy arrow or fiery arrow. Brigid is symbolised by fire and flames, the hearth. She is also symbolised by water, cauldrons, grain, Brigid wheels, Brigid bed, creatures, a white cow with red ears and a swan. and all serve our talismans, a spinning wheel. Bridget is the goddess of inspiration, smithcraft and healing. Bridget oversees poets, poetry, creativity, prophecy and the arts. In smithcraft she oversees blacksmiths, goldsmiths and household crafts, and in healing Bridget looks after healers, medicine, spiritual healing and fertility, crops, land and cattle, so I'll betide anybody that messes with her magic. Though best known as Bridget, another name for her is Cerridwen. Cerridwen is Bridget's name in Welsh folklore. Cerridwen holds an incredibly important role as a mythological and historical figure because she is said to be the mother of the famous Welsh poet Taliesin. Although Cerridwen and Bridget have separate histories, the only difference comes from the separate cultures. She is the Lady of the Shore, for the shore is one of those magical places between that fascinate the Celts. These in-between places such as shorelands and fjords, doorways and so on, where neither one state nor the other, the shore is neither dry land nor is it sea, yet it is a meeting place of both. If we consider that the land represents a solid material world, while the sea represents the great cosmic womb of all life, the initiative side of our nature, it can see that the shore is a meeting place between one world and another. Bridget is also known as the two-faced one, so again, Gemini. In the legends, she is described as having one side of her face black and ugly and the other white and beautiful. The mystery of Bride is to be found in the annual transformation of the Gaelic, the Hag of Winter, into the fair maiden of spring. Bridget is a goddess of all arts and crafts. She represents the potential of all women, for she is the eternal flame that burns in the hearts and hearth of every woman of the Gael. Moon-crowned Bridget of the undying flame. Finally, Bridget presides over the cradle of the newborn infant, and is a common practice for the women of the Isles to hang rowan crosses over their cradles whilst reciting a charm or prayer to Bridget to invoke her protection. So bless the children that are being born. I went out to the hazelwood because a fire was in my head, and cut and peeled a hazel wand and hooked a berry to a thread, and when the white moths were on the wing and moth-like stars were flickering out, I dropped the berry in a stream and caught a little silver trout. When I had laid it on the floor, I went to blow a fire aflame, but something rustled on the floor, and something called me by my name. It had become a glimmering girl with apple blossom in her hair, who called to me by my name and ran and faded through the bright air. Though I am old and wandering through hollow land and hilly lands, I will find out where she is gone and kiss her lips and take her hands and walk among that dappled grass and pluck till time and time are done the silver apples of the moon, the golden apples of the sun. Shelley, as a silver shape like its early love doth pass, upborne by her wild and glittering hair, and when he wakes on the fragrant grass he finds a night day. And hail to thee, blithe spirit, bird thou never wert, that from heaven or near it pourest thy full heart in profuse strains of unpremeditated art. And finally Milton, look nymphs and shepherds look, what sudden blaze of majesty is that which we from hence descry? To divine to be mistook, this is she, to whom our vows and wishes bend, here our solemn search hath end. Mark what radiant state she spreads in circles around her shining throne. Shoot her beams like silver thread, this is she alone, sitting like a goddess bright in the centre of her light. Beautiful. Good night, sleep tight, don't let the bed bugs bite. Bye.